Right here, Matt Miller, Boise State wide receivers coach. Intriguing group you got. Some returners, some new guys coming off injury, guys ready for breakout years. What's the excitement level for you with your group going into camp?
Yeah, I think this the work they put in this off season into the summer. Very high expectations for that group, and I'm excited to see those guys all of them go out there and compete here in the next couple of days.
Two intriguing ones, I guess, was Cam Marshall or Cam Camper and Chris Marshall. You saw Chris a little bit in the spring. Sounds like Cam's going to be slightly limited, coming along, but just getting a chance now in fall camp to see those two guys. Your thoughts and the ceiling, I guess, for those two.
Yeah, I think it's really good that both those guys are getting healthy. Chris battled a couple of things in spring camp, and obviously Cam didn't do really anything in spring camp. So seeing those guys get healthy, get into our system, get those actual reps is going to be very beneficial. I think they both have very high ceilings, but they have to be able to go out there and perform, compete, and that's meaning be able to stay healthy. And a lot of those guys have a couple miles on their tires, and so it's going to be really important for us to manage their reps.
I mean, both those guys seem like they could be starting, 1A wide receivers if they're healthy and clicking. I mean, what kind of if you can tap into that potential? I mean, how intriguing are the possibilities with those two?
Yeah, it's obviously really intriguing. It's also really exciting because we have other guys in that room who are going to help, compete and push those guys, as well as they're going to push and compete with those other guys. And so as one goes, the rest of that group's going to go as well. And so that open competition, iron sharpening iron, is going to be really, really important for us to really figure out this camp.
Latrell looked like same old Latrell in spring ball out there. I mean, what kind of benefit? I think people forget how good he was 2 years ago. I mean, to get him back out there, how big is that?
I think what we really missed with Latrell was his leadership. Not having him out there last year, he's very much an alpha leader, and he's going to demand a lot from that group. And he showed up in the spring camp, obviously with how he performed, but how he led from the sideline into the huddle and throughout his play. And so having him is, I think, something that we really missed last year, and we really, really are looking forward to having him back here this fall.
And then another kind of group, it would seem like, Prince and Austin are kind of in that same kind of just ready to emerge as stars, had solid years last year. I mean, how do you kind of look at those two and their development and trying to become all-around, receivers?
Yeah, I think the big thing with those two guys, they really haven't played a lot of football still. AB came along really strong towards the end of last season, and Prince had a limited role throughout the season and kind of picked up towards the end of the season. So having those guys have those reps in spring camp was really important through the summer, and I think their best football is still in front of them. And so for those guys to go out there and compete this camp with the rest of that group, I think it's going to be really, really important in terms of their development.
Where's Chase Henry fit in? I mean, people kind of forget about him, but he had some big catches, done some things for you guys too. I mean, he would seem like he's facing an uphill battle in terms of playing time, but where do you see Chase fitting in?
Yeah, I think Chase did a really good job being consistent. He does everything really at a consistent level, and he's a guy that we can trust in a lot of different positions as well as on special teams. And we'll be able to find a role for Chase just because he's a consistent mannered young man, and he's grown into a leader role as well. And so super excited about Chase and the rest of the group.
Do you see one or two guys kind of having the 70 or 80 catches and the 1,000 yards, or do you see like four guys all having 40 catches?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be something we got to figure out throughout fall camp and who can emerge as a playmaker. It could go one of two ways, right? It could be that group of receiving by committee, or it could be a couple of guys sticking out and being those 1,000-yard guys. That's where it's exciting opportunity for us with that group is there's a lot of different possibilities, but now it's the time for us to go put in the work and execute.
Do you prefer is there one that's better in terms of scheming against the defense or whatever? I mean, the depth versus the stars, or?
Obviously, they both have pros and cons. At the end of the day, whatever it takes for us to win the football game is what we're going to end up doing, and I think those guys are on the same page as that as well.
I guess final thing, I mean, just the excitement level for this team. You know this program very well. Fans are super excited, CFP, whatever. I mean, just how ready is this team, I guess, to face what's ahead?
Yeah, I think right now these guys are very linear focused on Georgia Southern, and that's what I really appreciate about those guys. They don't get too high, they don't get too low. They're really focused on what's important at that moment of that day, and right now that's just preparing for fall camp here on Wednesday and ultimately getting ready to go play Georgia Southern here at the end of this month.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.